Oh, that does look like a Team Austria setting.
It looks like the wife coach place of living.
It does.
It looks
Is
opulent
is that a pool in the background?
beautiful. Yep, that's a pool. Look at that plant.
Wouldn't mind a dip in the
I wouldn't
pool
mind playing
myself
Hearthstone there.
Anywho, Pirate Warrior versus, if we can get over our envy for a second. Pirate
Nick
Warrior.
Chipper's place looks very nice too. He has a window. That's a nice window.
Probably has Raven somewhere trying to
Oh yeah,
watch him
trying to like get him to play Hunter.
I'm surprised to see Nick Chipper playing a more control deck though in the form of the J Druid. I guess J Druid just a very strong pick at the moment, especially as all the players had the knowledge that there's no quest rogue.
That's certainly a big boon to J Druid's popularity. You know, after it being so popular already, it just makes you more likely to want to bring it over aggro Druid. And in this case, we are seeing the J Druid, of course, for Nick Chipper and Ukraine. Johnny Stone and Austria have the Pirate Warrior deck, and pretty good starts for both of these teams here. Austria is going to want to find something for turn 3, but if they do get that, then they will curve out really, really nicely. And the J Druid does have a lot to combat the early game from aggressive decks like Pirate Warrior, like Bloodlust Shaman, like aggro Druid. They have Wrath, they have Swipe. You can obviously just ramp into large taunt minions like Primordial Drake, and that can get the job done. But early aggression is always something that is going to be slightly favored.
Yeah, I mean, he's got plenty of time to pick up a 3-drop. He's got 2 more turns to do that. And even if he gets another 2-drop, or a Fiery War Axe, or something like that, just to fill out that curve a little bit, then Johnny Stone's looking like he's in a strong position. You know, you see Johnny Stone playing Warrior, you kind of hope it's going to be Cthulhu, not Cthulhu Taunt Warrior.
The Cthulhu-less Cthulhu. That, I'll admit, I was watching that, and I think I was just as confused as you guys were.
Oh, me and Gaskin were very confused.
It was a little bit bizarre, but they won with it. Deciding to go a little bit more the traditional route this week.
Johnny Stone was insisting that the deck is strong, so sure. Nick Chipper is going to coin out the Wild Growth now. What does that mean? It means turn 2, he's got 3 mana. Not quite going to be able to...
Innervate out the Nourish for mana, and then roll into 6 with Behemoths.
Okay, yeah, that works out perfectly. And against a Pirate Warrior, that's probably a good way to start. Yeah, okay, you don't get the early minion presence on the board, but on turn 4, you're putting a 3/6 with Taunt out, and then another one the turn after. And there's the War Axe that Johnny Stone wanted. Does he play it this turn? Or does he play the Bloodsail Raider this turn and play the War Axe next turn? Obviously, the advantage of playing the War Axe now is that the Bloodsail Raider gets the extra buff, and he can start pushing damage nice and quickly.
Johnny Stone didn't hit with the Rusty Hook last turn, so if he plays the Fiery War Axe this turn, that means he did just miss 1 damage, so he may have been hoping to get some form of an upgrade. Bloodsail Cultist on turn 3 would be great. Now the Axe this turn and then the Bloodsail Raider next turn would mean a stronger board presence.
Yeah, Nick Chipper can't do anything about it. He's got no Wrath, he's got no Feral Rage, no way to deal with it. But Johnny Stone going to play it a little bit slower than that. Going to just play the Raider as a 3/3. And hey, that's still pretty good.
It's good enough, right? Because you have some nice follow-up for it. Now, you can fire your War Axe on 3 if you have to. And it's going to be a couple more slow-ish turns here for the Ukraine.
Yeah. Innovate out Nourish is going to be the way that Nick Chipper decides to go with this, and that just allows Johnny to push all of this damage. Still a 3-drop though. Johnny would love a Bloodsail Cultist or something right about
That'd be
now.
fantastic.
Even a Dread Corsair or a Salty Captain or a Frothing Berserker. There are so many.
Any 3-drop in the deck, they'll take it.
Although,
This is build your own 3-drop.
The awkward thing about this is that if you play the Fiery War Axe now and upgrade it, it means Arcanite Reaper isn't as useful as early. You swing once here. Or I guess you could swing 3 times and then play the Reaper and not swing with it on turn 5 still. So you can still play mana efficiently. It's just not ideal.
You don't have to use the upgrade here, but it does apply a lot of pressure. And Ukraine, they've got really nice turn 6, 7. But if they don't, if they whiff a couple of turns after that, then they could really struggle.
Yeah.
So Austria just needs to have the removal for those taunts. And ideally enough, that would come in the form of Arcanite Reaper upgrade, because it would line up so well into the 6 health behemoths. but
Yep.
you still do have 3 other upgrade options in the deck.
Deciding to go for it, it does make sense. He is going to have to just swing his weapon every single turn, but then as a pirate warrior, are you really complaining about that? Oh no, I have to swing my weapon every turn.
No, I have to deal 4 damage every turn.
Jade Behemoth is going to block the path a little bit. Actually, it's going to block it a lot. Johnny Stone only able to push 1 damage on the board this next turn, plus the Corcoran, obviously.
What to do?
Ukraine taking their time. Swipe is an option here. But Jade Behemoth this turn, and then Jade Behemoth plus Jade Idol on turn 7 lines up so well.
What to do?
It does. Behemoth plus into Behemoth Jade Idol, exactly. If Nick Chipper can just draw a couple more things, maybe a Primordial Drake to play on turn 8, maybe a
For no one.
Feral Rage or an Earthen Scales or some way of building up
I'll
the
give him
health
the
again.
stability.
He's getting there. Just needs to hold on for a little bit longer. Actually, not going to play the Behemoth yet. Okay. It's interesting.
Because Austria used Fiery War Axe upgrade on 3, it likely means that there's no other 3-drop in hand, which means you may not need Swipe for Frothing Berserker at this point, so you can choose to expend it a little bit early.
Okay. It's odd to me that Nick Chipper decided not to put a minion on the board then, but gotta trust in Ukraine.
I mean, you have Swipe, which can remove this board cleanly this turn, and then maybe next time you play down the Jade Behemoth, it's not automatically challenged.
Right. So, I can't think of any reason that Johnny Stone would opt not to play the Corcoran Elite here. It's just an extra 4 damage and a minion that sticks to the board. Heroic Strike also deals 4 damage, but doesn't put a minion on the
Yeah,
board.
you want that repetitive damage. It's much more valuable.
You just see Wife Coach wandering around in the background there. Johnny
Getting
Stone.
ready for a match, I'm sure.
Can't see, there she is again. Ah, now she's sitting down. Okay, I was going to say we can't see Game King or Zigantag anywhere, which is a little bit surprising.
Also, since Johnny Stone just saw a Swipe, it's very likely that the Corcoran gets to stick. Jades for days for Ukraine.
All right, this is where things are starting to look good for Nick Chipper. Again, he just needs to survive for a little bit longer. Heroic Strike is going to allow Johnny Stone to take down this Jade Behemoth with 1 hit.
And then you have South Sea Captain to play alongside it. Nice pickup.
Meanwhile, pushing another 4 damage to the face.
Going to be relying on Arcanite Reaper to get those finishing points of damage.
You know what Arcanite Reaper doesn't do a good job of dealing with, though? Jade Behemoth.
Things with 6 health.
Exactly. 2 hits from an Arcanite Reaper? I don't think so.
Yes, the upgrade would have been nice to hold on to, but then you would have only had 2 swings from the Fiery War Axe instead of 3.
Johnny was really taking his time here. This is a very important series of Hearthstone. What Austria have come through to get here. They beat Russia. They've beaten Ukraine. They now have to beat Ukraine again.
I mean, this is probably their most important series of Hearthstone in this entire tournament.
Yeah.
It is all on the line here for Austria, and the amount of work that they've put in is staggering. Like you said, they are a team through and through.
It wasn't actually last week. It was actually back in week 11 that Austria played against Ukraine. I was just quickly checking my notes there.
Some good comprehensive note-taking.
Yeah.
So Ukraine picks up Earth and Scales, means they're going to be able to put themselves further outside of range of these weapon swings alongside the taunt minion. But how do they want to spread out the stats, I wonder? Because Earth and Scales could go on the 2/2 Golem and clear off the Corcoran.
It's so difficult for Nick Chipper here. He doesn't know that there's an Arcanite Reaper ready to go in the hand as well. We were talking about how it's only going to take, how it would take 2 swings of the Reaper to deal with the Jade Behemoth. Well, no, it's not. It's going to take 1 swing plus whatever minion is still alive.
Time waits for no one.
Salty Captain plus Arcanite Reaper going to do the trick. However, it means Johnny Stone isn't pushing any damage to the face this turn. Deckhand helps. That is 3 damage, actually, because the Deckhand trades into the Behemoth, and then the Captain goes face.
Which means that then one more hit from the Arcanite Reaper would still not be enough if you crane hero powers up. Next turn, we can also obviously Earthen Scales in hand.
Yeah, and I think we're at the point where Nick Chipper's going to have to just do that.
Which means that Austria is going to be relying on an additional charge minion draw next turn to get the job done. So Kor'kron or Leroy, or another weapon over the course of 2 or 3 turns even.
And hey, I mean, one mana, gain 5 armor is still a pretty good spell.
Oh,
and
that's
give a minion +1/+1. There's a warrior spell that is just the armor effect, right?
Ironhide?
Yeah. Good job. I would not have remembered the name of that card.
Play a lot of Arena. And even still, I avoid the warrior class. Oh, this is actually much smarter. What kind of math are we doing? Because the deckhand comes out, it's a 3/2 because of the buff, so both minions go in, and now over 2 turns with just a hero power. Yes, you have
That is
lethal.
better. I just pigeonholed the
Oh,
play
man.
into keeping a minion alive. Totally forgot that, yeah.
I mean, because
Great.
minions are more valuable when they're repetitive damage,
Exactly.
but the minion on board challenges your pirate anyway.
And having an Arcanite Reaper just represents lethal at the moment. Now it doesn't. Though
Now you
it's
still need Kor'kron or
Heroic Strike or Mortal Strike
Leroy.
or Leroy. There are actually a lot of options for Johnny here. Second Captain isn't quite going to have the same impact that the first did.
Okay, you can still play it down to draw some damage away from your face. You do have the option of hitting this turn and hoping to draw another weapon, or holding and hoping to draw an upgrade effect, in which case maybe you hold the Captain in case you draw Bloodsail Cultist.
Yeah. That's true. Definitely worth considering. Captain's also... There should still be a second deckhand somewhere. If the next 2 draws, for example, were N'Zoth's First Mate and Salty Deckhand, then that would work out nicely for Johnny. There's just no point in playing it, is there? Unless you want to force Nick Chipper to trade for some reason, but I don't think
You're not looking at dying this turn or next turn even.
No, not quite. Not unless Nick Chipper plays something big right now.
I think you hold it. I think you hold it, and in case you get Bloodsail Cultist, then you can have lethal over 2 turns. This is putting a lot of stock into 5 damage. So Arcanite Reaper or Leroy off the top.
Yeah, Jade Blossom is going to represent lethal next turn for Nick Chipper. I think, yeah, it is. So Johnny Stone believes he's got the damage there ready to go in his deck.
You wouldn't have had 3 turns anyway because of the minion pressure on board, so holding for upgrade probably wasn't the game-winning play.
Yeah, that's true.
Going for the 2 turn with an additional Arcanite Reaper off the top is going to win you the game more often, because now Heroic Strike's not lethal, Kor'kron's not lethal, Mortal Strike won't be lethal until you're below 12, and Ukraine are certainly good enough players to play around that.
Yeah. There's Game King. We found him.
Hey, friends have joined. They know that this game's coming down to the wire.
Game King is ready to take his turn on the stand.
Time waits for no one.
Or in the hot seat, I guess, for Team Austria. All right, it all comes down to this. One last draw to decide if Austria win Game 1 of this series.
Got 2 outs. That's not gonna be it. Still no lethal present
still
for
not quite,
Ukraine.
yeah.
So now the only out is Leroy or Mortal Strike if Ukraine put Austria below 12.
Yeah, Arcanite Reaper not quite going to cut it anymore.
So again, 1 turn.
No, I
Do you think that the Naga Corsair would have been worth holding on to then, just in case you pick up Arcanite Reaper off the top?
yeah, you're right. You're completely right. I imagine that's something Johnny Stone would have thought about since. Look at that, Nick Chipper not putting Johnny Stone down to 12. Doesn't matter. Dread Corsair is the pickup. That's not quite good. Wait, there's no... Okay, that's still
16,
lethal.
yeah,
Okay.
it's lethal, yeah.
I just panicked
Yeah.
for a second there. Like, is this game ever
You
going
got
to
16
end?
with a hero power, yes.
All
This
right.
game is over. Ukraine going to scoop this one up, stabilizing the very low life total, and Austria had a couple of outs there for a few turns, wasn't quite able to close this game out.
Yeah, that was definitely a dramatic one. There were outs for Austria. Johnny Stone didn't quite get to them. He played to his outs though a couple turns ago. He made that great play by swinging the Arcanite Reaper face, making the trade with his minions, which we totally missed. Sorry about that.
But I do think I would have liked to see him hold on to the Naga Corsair there at the end, just in case he did pick up the Arcanite Reaper. He would have had exactly 9 mana that turn, and that would have been the 6 damage that he would have needed to close out the game. So that one little thing, yeah, we messed up, but ultimately, it didn't end up mattering.
Makes sense to me. Next up, Game King versus Dr. Hippie. Game King on the Paladin, Dr. Hippie on the Shaman. Now, Cora, what Shaman are we expecting now? Because I don't even know anymore.
I mean, I'm like 9 out of 10 times this is going to be Bloodlust Token Shaman. It's just we already saw the 1 out of 10 times today.
Well, that's
so
fine.
Now things are a little bit
So for the
questionable.
next 9 times, it's just going to be
Probably going to be Bloodlust Shaman.
So, yeah.
It's the most common variant of Shaman right now. It's the most consistent variant of Shaman right now. Has been since the HCT playoffs this past season. And Paladin's always up in the air. You never really know what to expect with Paladin until you're in the game, and then you're like, oh yes, of course, Paladin.
Game King and Dr. Hippie both getting ready to play there. And yeah, as you said, it's just the Evolved Shaman is just more consistent. It's like universally considered the best Shaman deck. For a while, I think it was just considered the best deck in Hearthstone. Maybe it still
It was
is.
#1 on the Tempo Storm meta snapshot for several weeks, I believe.
But as far as HCT goes last week, there were 8 Evolved Shamans and 1 Jade. So as you said, 9 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 9 in this case.
Fair enough.
And there's the Doppelgangster. Okay, we're back to normality.
I enjoy the Doppelgangster Bloodlust variant. It feels very Shaman to me, right? It's a little bit more similar to what we've been seeing from Shaman over the past several years. They're aggressive decks that try to curve out and get value from weapons and spells where they can, but Bloodlust has been such a powerhouse card for so long that it's almost nice to see it getting some play now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always been one of those cards that's kind of been a threat. It's been something that you consider whenever you're playing against Shaman. If you ever don't consider playing around Bloodlust, you just lose to it because you happen to face the one guy that's put it into his deck. So,
it's been a one-of in a lot of metas, right?
Yeah. Now, it's kind of nice that you expect 2 of them because you at least know that it's coming now.
You know to play around it. And it is going to be pretty standard aggressive Murloc Paladin for Austria, what we're used to seeing at this point. Both of these decks want to gain board control early on and then spiral that control out for an early win, whether it be with Murloc, Synergy, and Gentle Megasaur, or with Bloodlust on a wide board state of Fireflies, of Primal Fin Totem. And then they do both have their fail-safes. So with the Paladin, Spike Ridge Seed, Curator Tyrion, and with the Shaman, Doppelgangster Evolve.
I really like the start here from Game King, just playing both of the Murlocs. Not only is he putting 5 health on the board, he's putting 1 threat that does need to be dealt with as soon as possible. It's not weak to Maelstrom Portal. It is weak to Devolve. Nick Chipper. Not Nick Chipper, sorry. Dr. Hippie. Gonna waste no time.
Are you a Nick Chipper fan
Getting a
too?
bit confused. Not quite as much as Raven is. But I am a big Dr. Hippie fan, actually.
I am too.
Gonna waste no time there on the Devolve and just turn those Murlocs into some Wisps.
I mean, you've got 2 Devolves.
Yeah.
Not playing any games here. Let's get them off the board early, choke out the resources. It's gonna be A-okay.
Can't argue with that logic. Now, Game King probably just going to drop Hydrologist. Tends to be pretty reliable 2-drop to play as the Paladin. Just drop Hydrologist on 2, grab yourself a secret, set up for a Murloc War Leader, or Rockpool Hunter coming straight after.
couple of pretty useful secrets here. Noble Sacrifice is going to get some good value. Getaway Kodo is obviously
Neither of those are
most
going to do
value
anything,
in some
Cora.
situations, but we don't have them.
So Redemption
Screw hypotheticals.
gonna have to be the next best pick. The great thing about Redemption is that you can play mind games. Oftentimes your opponent will only be able to play around Redemption or Noble Sacrifice.
Yeah.
And if you can make them play around the wrong one, then you can sometimes cause some damage.
Get some favorable trades in there where maybe your opponent wasn't expecting it. There's not a lot of Paladin secrets, but there still are some situations where you can play some nice mind games.
Yeah, and that's one of the big ones for the Paladin too. It's kind of like the equivalent of, was it Counterspell or is it Mirror Entity? For the Mage, is it
Is it
Explosive Trap?
Counterspell or is it Ice Block? Do I
Right.
win or am
Exactly.
I done?
Is it Explosive Trap or is it Freezing Trap?
Is it Snakes or is it Explosive?
Yeah.
Hate playing around that.
Right, right.
Fortunately, there's not a lot of Hunter. Unfortunate for Nick Chipper.
It's fine. Nick Chipper won his game. He doesn't
Yeah.
need to worry about that.
There is little time.
Now, Dr. Hippie.
So Firefly Maelstrom is a clear.
It's so bad though. You're using Maelstrom to deal with one minion. I prefer this. Ooh,
It's just the potential for the War Leader on 3 is something that you kind of
sure.
always want to give a nod to, but Devolve Maelstrom is likely going to be a clear in most situations, so you
second
want to
devolve,
hold on to
yeah.
those two.
Having both devolves in the opening hand against an aggressive Murloc Paladin deck, hey, that turns out to be pretty alright.
Turns out devolving 1-drops in a lot of cases is pretty good.
Yeah.
Weird, but really good.
When these 1-drops are buffing each other up, or 2 and 3 drops in the case of the Murloc War Leader and the Rockpool Hunter, that's the thing. Devolve doesn't just lower the mana cost of minions, it also undoes any stat bonuses that these minions have. Apart from in Cavern's Row. Don't make that mistake.
Yeah, whew, that's a bad one. That is a reason to hold on to the Devolve for later in the game, though, because Spike Ridged Seed can come out onto a minion, can prevent your Bloodlust Lethal, and you don't usually have Hex in this deck.
Yeah. That's true. That's one of the better targets for a while. Back when Spirit Echo Shaman was a popular deck, and we were seeing this matchup, we'd see Spike Ridge Steed played on a frog that's already been hexed, so that that frog can then not be devolved and lose its stat buff.
Yeah. It's actually a really cool interaction.
Yeah. I think one player, I think it may have even been Super JJ, made a huge mistake.
Tried
in
to
one
devolve the
tournament.
frog. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
What to do?
So is this the devolve turn then?
So you would get 2 1-drops.
Most 1-drops do only have 1 health. A lot of 2-drops only have 1 health as well. Obviously, Flame Imp exists, Mistress of Mixtures, and there are all sorts of 1-drops that do have more health.
Yeah. A lot of 1-2s.
Injured Cavaldier, not anymore. That's not a problem anymore.
Can be bullied by him. Yeah, gonna have to. No other efficient way to remove these minions.
That works.
Maelstrom.
Trade the 1-2 into the Murloc. It's ironic that Austria did get a Murloc from that. Oh, that's a double-edged sword.
Tentacle of N'Zoth. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all other minions.
I guess it's good in this situation because Game King can't easily just pick it off. The downside is that Dr. Hippie would lose the Firefly if the tentacle died, but at the moment there's no way that Game King can take advantage of that. So he has to play around it. The tentacle allows Ukraine to deal with all like tokens at some point. This is a really complicated board state.
That's really weird. I mean, if Murloc War Leader were to come down this turn, for instance, Firefly could go in and then the Tentacle could go in, and that would be a clear on it.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe it does sort of cut out a couple of possible plays.
Sure. I don't even know which is the pick here. Guess the Getaway Coda. I think that's right. Game King has a more valuable hand, and now the Mind Games! Dr. Hippie may have to play around Noble Sacrifice. I don't think it's a problem. You just try and hit face
Yeah,
with
with the Firefly and
first.
then run in the Tentacle.
But then you don't play around Redemption. Oh, actually, can you play around Redemption? I don't think you can. Because if you hit him with Firefly first, and then hit him with
No.
the Tentacle, the Death Rattle will go off first, and then the Secret will proc, so...
So there's no possible way to play around Redemption anyway. So you test for Noble Sacrifice, and then you test for Repentance after you kill off the Hydrologist, but we'll see it's Getaway Kodo, so no need at that point.
All right, so the trade sequencing is fairly straightforward here then. Yep, Dr. Hippie goes ahead, smacks the face first with the Firefly. Does he ever consider hitting face with the Tentacle? Oh, it looks like he's not
maybe you
trading.
just don't have to trade.
If he was going to trade, he'd have done so before playing the Stonehill Defender. Grab an extra thing from below. That seems to be what Stonehill Defenders are doing these days.
If you hero power and roll healing totem, you'd rather just not kill off the Hydrologist.
Tom's fine too.
I mean, this Tentacle is potentially 3 additional damage with Bloodlust.
It's insurance as well. It allows Dr. Hippie to clear all Silverhand recruits when he wants to.
Yeah.
It's not going to clear that though.
It's also just funny.
It is pretty funny. Not very good in his off decks.
No.
Okay. So, the play that strikes, or that jumps out to me immediately, is double totem Thing from Below. You can push a lot of damage face that way. You put up a taunt as well.
I'm just looking at how the sequencing, where you want your Flame Tongue Totem to be in particular.
Depends
So you
if you want to get rid of the Hydrologist or not, I think.
I think you need to, because Hydrologist plus Finja kills off Stonehill Defender.
Infinite value there on the Hydrologist.
And then you probably want your Thing from Below to be buffed, so you put that on the right.
Between the Tentacle and the Flame Tongue. But Consecration is going to cause some real damage here. Consecration alone actually deals with the Flame Tongue Totem. It allows Thing from Below to be traded into by the Finja.
This actually is better placement. Now that the Thing from Below is on the left, the Stonehill gets killed off, then 2 minions are still being buffed by the Flame Tongue.
Ah. If the Flame Tongue were to survive.
But you're right, the Consecration makes things a little bit complicated for Ukraine. They don't have a wide board state to Bloodlust, and it looked like they were trying to set up for a lethal.
Now Game King has to decide whether he wants to sacrifice the Finja, or whether he'd rather try and squeeze a little bit of extra value out of it this next turn. Gonna squeeze, gonna get squeezing. Pretty sure Thing from Below just trades straight into it. Though the War Leader is a huge threat in itself now.
Kind of difficult to tell which one is more valuable. So there's Evolve, no Doppelgangster in sight, but this Thing from Below needs to go into one of the Murlocs.
Yeah, Evolve is almost so good. If Dr. Hippie's Thing from Below still had full health, then he could trade it into the War Leader, then evolve it. It would become a 7-drop. That would be really strong. However, if he evolves it, it loses its ability to attack. And as soon as he attacks, it dies. So there's not quite a way to get this to work.
But what is a higher priority target, the War Leader or the Finja?
It's so hard.
You've used both Evolves and Maelstrom Portal, so you can't deal with a wide board.
Exactly. If he had another board clear, I'd say it would be easy and that the War Leader would be the target. Okay, we're just going to go as wide as we can and as expensive as we can.
Hope we get some good value here.
2 2-drops, 2 7-drops.
Best 7-drops in the game. Tough to say.
Oh, well,
not those.
No, Ancient of War maybe, but not when it's a 5-5.
There's a lot of underwhelming 7-drops in the game, actually. Better stat lines would probably have to be like Prophet Felon. There's some really bad 7-drops.
Well, that's like 23 damage.
Yeah.
And there's still a Gentle Megasaur in hand, ready to go. Wind Fury attack would do it. 1-1, I think, is 1 off.
Yeah, maybe 27. Well, there's Wind Fury.
All right.
All right, so Austria gonna tie up this series 1-1. The Shaman just not able to keep up with this blisteringly fast Paladin deck, even after double Devolve and a Maelstrom Portal early on.
Great win there. Look at that, high fives. This is why I love to watch Austria. They're just so happy, giving each other the high fives, and now wife coach comes and sits down and gets ready to take her turn.
They look like they're having fun.
Exactly. And
You love seeing that.
that is the whole point, right? That's why we're here.
The
That's
root
why
of
you guys are
Hearthstone,
watching.
It's a game, and these guys want to have fun when they're playing. And I think that's really where the team format even shines. Is it seems like a lot of these teams have an even better time because they're getting to collaborate with each other.
And I think one of the most important things as well is that your teammates can help prevent you from tilting.
Oh, yeah.
If you lose a game and you start to, start to get frustrated with yourself, maybe start to get frustrated with your team. If you've got someone there actually by your side, patting you on the back and saying, yeah, it's fine, don't worry, I'd have missed that too. It's all okay, we're still going to win this.
They can help you from keep you from getting inside your own head,
Exactly.
and really beating yourself up internally. Whereas if you're playing by yourself, there's nobody to really help you, stay in fighting form, keep you up.
Next up, it's going to be a wife coach versus Kalento, shaman versus mage. I feel like we haven't seen much mage today.
We haven't. I believe we saw one game of Discover Mage, and it took down the Taunt Warrior for...
Yeah, that's right.
It was in one of our first two series. I forget which one.
It's very strange because we usually see a lot of mage. And today it's just been a little bit lacking. Not many fireballs being flung.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual. Mage is a very popular class right now. It's one of the best classes in the game. So Kalento, obviously one of the best players in Hearthstone, just made it through to the World Championships, at the Spring Championships this past weekend. Storied competitor. And then we've got wife coach, and she is a bit newer to Hearthstone. No real accolades to her name, but she's been a valued member of Team Austria thus far, and they've been putting up some fantastic results.
She has, and you can tell she's really been looking after the group as well. The group is just incredibly well functioning. They all have their roles, they do what they need to do. But then, as you said, there's Kalento, and he came second in Shanghai, I believe. Very, very, very storied competitor there.
Are you wearing cat ears?
I think they're just... Wait. No, that's just the cushion on his chair behind him.
Oh my goodness, those are well placed. Wow.
Quick, someone screenshot that.
Cat Lento. Oh, okay.
Hashtag Catlento.
Can't unsee that one. It was just too cute for a second there.
That would be the best thing, right?
Oh man.
If Kalento did
Jet lag
decide
is
to-
real. I'm seeing Cat Lento.
He'll go to the finals and he'll wear cat ears for you.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
That'd be so generous.
There you go.
too.
Barnes once again appearing in Wife Coach's Evolve Shaman. It's not something that's been used that much. I'm surprised it's been used so little, honestly. But
I can see the value of it.
yeah, it does make sense. And when it works, it really works. Imagine, turn 4, Barnes, you get Thing from Below, Coin, Evolve. That's crazy. It's even better than Doppelgangster.
Oh. That's saying a lot there. Doppelgangster's pretty cool. You can evolve your 2/2s and get 1/1s.
You can do that. That can happen. Chances of getting 3 1/1s are pretty unlikely. But it can happen.
Alright, so Mage is... Whatever archetype you're looking at is pretty much an amalgamation of a bunch of other archetypes together. There's a lot of crossover as far as which cards these decks are using. Polymorph plus Flame Strike could mean that this is a more standard Freeze Mage, but there's Mana Worm, and now it's looking like a Burn Mage plus Doomsayer. Very, very difficult to tell exactly what these guys are playing because all of the decks are so similar right now.
It's just hybrid crossover Mage.
It's just Mage. Doesn't even really have a name anymore. It's just Mage.
Mage. Just Jaina doing her thing. Like I said, flinging some fireballs.
Freaky frosty thing.
Bad turn for Wife Coach now. I mean, she could devolve, but it does very little. It looks like she's just hero powering.
Looks like she's committed to the 2-turn kill on the Medivh's Valley with the Jade Claws, which is unfortunate, to say the least. You would like to have developed something of your own by turn 3. But she has a lot of reactive cards, so her clear plan later on will be definitely feasible.
Yeah, Jade Lightning devolved both some of the strongest cards I think in this token Shaman deck. Even though some players have been removing one devolve to try other things.
Copy of Lightning Storm.
Now back to Kalento. He's got the Doomsayer, which is going to be a very nice tool to clear the board or set the board up when he needs to. Ice Block right now to buff the Mana Worm just seems solid.
You'd rather be drawing your secrets off of Arcanologist, but it's not a terrible draw here. He's going to need some additional minion resources going forward. Doomsayer is going to be enough to reset the board, but then you need to apply pressure after the Doomsayer when you have initiative.
Right. There's a second Doppelgangster, but no evolve in sight. This is awkward for Wife Coach. She's got the Barnes, she's got 2 Doppelgangsters. That's a lot of weak statted minions. There's just a missing ingredient. That's the evolve.
A 1-mana spell?
It is a 1-mana spell, yeah. How did you know?
Well, guess.
We've lost Kalenta. He found out about the cat ears, and he's just
Embarrassed.
fixing it.
That's okay.
We're on to you, Kalento.
Probably just some run-of-the-mill cam issues.
So I think Wife Coach just has to play Barnes here.
I mean, Jade Lightning's an option.
Jade Lightning's
Get a
fine,
2/2
yeah.
golem, which is okay.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking Barnes. I guess the best thing Barnes could have gotten there was just Mana Tide Totem, draw a card.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. But it feels okay wasting Barnes because both Doppelgangsters are present. It's
And you'd rather evolve those anyway.
Yeah, it's not as necessary for that combo. Ukraine. Kalento has just nothing really to do. So when you got nothing to do, why not drop a Doomsayer?
Do the only thing you really can do. Frostbolt's too valuable. Doomsayer is most likely to activate now.
Problem is, Mage doesn't really have any 6-drops, so it's not like this Doomsayer is setting up for anything. Yeah, evolve.
So Wife Coach can just let this pass, and if Kalento doesn't have anything to develop, then Doppelgangster Evolve is looking pretty sweet on turn 6.
Yeah, she can just Hero Power, just discount that thing from below a little bit more. Smack the face with the 2/2, and as you said, next turn summon 3 6-drops. Okay.
We're coining Devolve here.
But
We are.
Okay.
Okay, so really wanting to keep the pressure up. Certainly can't falter for that.
I mean, a lot of potential value from the Doppelgangster next turn. If any of these minions stick, then Barnes could stick, meaning it becomes a 5-drop. Flame Tongue could become a 3-drop.
And we're likely not going to hit anything with Devolve anyway in this matchup that's really valuable. Doomsayer's about it. So I like taking the opportunity where you can get it here.
And is this worth a Meteor even? I don't think it is.
It's...
You can't even clear the whole board with it.
The thing is, you have the Flame Strike as well. So do you need both? I doubt you're expecting Doppelgangster Evolve twice.
Is Ping Fireball just better though? Ping away the Flame Tongue Totem, Fireball away Barnes.
How valuable is the Fireball? Like, how much are you looking to push burn damage this game versus grind out some resources, remove their minions, and then maybe develop your own?
It all just seems so unnecessary, all of it.
It seems like overkill, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's one of the reasons, for some reason, people thought Meteor was bad before the expansion came out. Why do I need to deal 15 damage to anything? The answer is, why not? Yeah.
Just because you can.
Rather deal 15 than
kill
1.
Everything from Tiny Fin to Ultrasaur with that puppy.
Even Ultrasaur, exactly.
Even Ultrasaur. Beautiful creature.
Doesn't kill the Chosen One, though. Or Thaddeus.
Oh, the Chosen One. I'm like, wait, what minion is the Chosen One? I thought you had just
Oh, no, it
dubbed,
does
I
deal
thought
with-
you had just dubbed a minion the Chosen
The
One.
Blood of the Chosen One.
Yeah,
the
the
Thaddeus is just a 12-12. I take that back, it does deal with Thaddeus. All right.
Ultrasaur is the Chosen One, if anything.
I'm sorry. I feel like I've offended you with that.
No. It was a bit of a silly brain moment. Oh, Sabertooth Stalkers.
Shame they both die to Flame Strike, isn't it?
Miserably.
Oh.
Wow. Is that the most damage that you can get for 6 mana?
Game King actually like pulling his hair out in the background. This is either amazing or terrible, I can't tell which.
Either we win or this is awful.
Pleasure.
I mean, volcanic potion, blizzard.
Yeah. Even Meteor would have dealt with one of them and
Yeah.
the thing from below.
Cool doppelgangster though.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
It got a reaction from all of us. And if Austria had the second evolve ready to go here, it would be massive. Buffing up the thing from
Disgusting.
below as well. Thing from below is everywhere today.
Well, we've seen quite a few shaman decks already.
Yeah.
3 shaman decks in 4 matches.
Even coming from evolve though.
Yeah, that's true.
Does Wife Coach just drop the doppelgangster and try and set up for a bloodless lethal? Doesn't look like it.
Can you set it up without playing the doppelgangster? At this point, you know this isn't counterspell. You know it's not ice barrier. You know it's not mirror entity. So you can nail this down to block.
Yeah, I mean Bloodlust would pop the ice block next turn. With this board, you're right. Doppelgangster just not necessary. Firelance Portal, not quite able to fit the ping in as well. Meteor ping would be fine, except the Meteor positioning from Wife Coach is very solid.
I mean, even just a ping on the thing from below prevents Bloodlust popping the block.
Could be a good time to use that Polymorph. I'm not sure if there are any better targets in this matchup. If you want to save Fireball for the face, but nope. We're going to Meteor away the other thing from below. Now, Wife Coach may be tempted to drop the Doppelgangster. Ooh, is Jade Lightning good? That's 3-3, right?
Yes.
If I'm keeping track. Yep. All right. Hopefully no second Flame Strike. We've seen a Meteor and we've seen a Flame Strike. Chances of this being cleared easily are slim. It's pretty much just Volcanic Potion that Wife Coach has to be afraid of. Kalento will know exactly what Wife Coach is trying here.
And Kalento set up for his own lethal.
Not quite over 2 turns.
Because the Bloodlust's going to push and pop the block, he doesn't have second block.
So, Frostbolt 1, Ping 1, Fireball 1, oof.
So 26 damage with Bloodlust.
What to do?
In which case, he just needs to deal with 2 minions. So yeah, okay, he could ping
Frostbolt, ping.
away Patches and Frostbolt one of the 2/2s.
You can't Alex then. And you can't Firelands Portal then. Ooh. Do you have to Alex and just hope you pick up second block?
Well, he could Firelands Portal the 2/2 and ping Patches still, I guess.
Yeah.
That's...
Develop something of your own at least.
Yeah, that has to be the play. I guess if he wants to be extra careful, he could Frostbolt one of the other Doppelgangsters, but I think just pinging Patches is fine. And, oh, Burgly Bully.
Couple of coins never hurt anybody.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful. There's no way that Wife Coach can deal with that without playing a spell. Aya is very beneficial. We're still on 3-3 because Jade Lightning was never played, but 3-3 plus a 4-4 when it dies.
Bloodlust plus Jade Lightning does pop block.
Ah.
2, 4, 5, 3, 6, 9, 12.
What to do?
17, yeah, that'd be 21. So you'd pop it 3.
All right. Good spot there, Wife Coach. Also spotting it, going to go for it.
I just love this sound from Bloodlust. It's just so extreme.
Jade Lightning, and then, yep.
Okay, so this way you pop it 2. Good sequencing.
And it looks like Wife Coach was really struggling this game when Kalento dealt with her evolved threat so efficiently. Arcanologist potentially a great draw for Kalento here if he can get a second ice block.
So Kalento can Alex Straza defensively, actually.
Yeah.
Point out the Frostbolt and leave a 1-2, a 2-2, and a 0-2 healing totem. So if there's no second Bloodlust,
But can he afford to?
pretty safe.
Can he afford to take that risk? What are the chances of
Well-
there being a second Bloodlust?
Okay, if you just leave 3 minions, that's 9, and then an additional 3. So you're not dead to second Bloodlust if you leave
All right.
3 minions on board.
Let's go then.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that it's not, because it's not offensive Alexstrasza, if Wife Coach can deal with it, she's not actually in a worse position than she was before, but she can't deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, now instead of burn plan, Alex Straza's the way you're killing him.
Aya plus Mana Tide Totem is probably fine though. This might force Kalento to have to make some trades.
And Polymorph goes onto the Aya. And then you can roll the Burgly Bully into the 4/4 Jade.
12 damage on board, Fireball is 18, Ping is 19. There's the Volcanic Potion! Finally showing up to the party. Kalento's wanted this card for quite a few turns now.
Okay, so Polymorph Aya, Volcanic Potion, Hero Power, the Mana Tide Totem, Bully into the 4/4,
Perfect.
and Alexstrasza Face.
What
You can even coin out Arcanologist at that point if you want.
Yeah.
And I think you want.
Kalento has exactly what he needs. He can coin out
Or
Arcanologist.
does Arcanologist get you a guaranteed block, or does he have other secrets?
I'm pretty sure we've only seen one block so far. So chances are there's a barrier
Yeah, I don't
or a
think there's
counter
any
spell.
situation where you just push here.
And what you don't need to. You've still got 12 health. You're leaving Wife Coach with nothing on the board. Only 2 cards in hand. Even if one is a Bloodlust, it's not going to be winning her the game anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Now you've got full board control, so she has no way of building up another board.
An incredible discovery.
There's
Counter
another spell.
spells. Always a big question mark about what spells, or secrets, excuse me, are going to be run in each mage deck.
Yeah, it tends to be the case that Counterspell has replaced Ice Barrier a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It just, when played correctly, not played stupidly before the coin or something,
You would be surprised.
it just has, well, yeah, I mean, we've seen it here in the Hearthstone Global games.
happens a lot.
We've seen a position where a player could play around it
Chooses
because
not.
they had the coin, didn't, and got punished and lost the game because they didn't play around it with the coin. So we've seen
That's
some,
why people play so much counterspell.
Yeah, we've
because
seen
it's
some-
harder to deal with than you'd think.
we've seen some hilarious situations with that card.
All right, there's going to be game number 3 going over to Ukraine. Kalento piloting that mage deck incredibly well.
What a close game that was.
It was. It really was. Choosing to hold on to the Alexstrasza there and playing that game really defensively actually worked incredibly well for Kalento. He never had enough minions to push for lethal. He never had enough burn to be able to close out the game quickly. But because he played slowly, he eventually got the cards that he needed, even though Wife Coach was way ahead as far as board presence
Yeah.
for most of the game.
And hey, Burgly Bully helped a lot too. He was able
really
to play
did.
the Alexstrasza and coin out Frostbolt.
And just the fact that it was a 4/6 was good enough to withstand a Jade Golem, additional damage. It worked out very, very well.
2-1 to Ukraine. They need to win one more game to get through to the top 8. Next up, it's Nyria versus Ziggenteig. Nyria on the Warrior, Ziggenteig on the Mage. Hopefully for Austria as their last chance. He'll be able to have as much luck with the Mage as Kalento did.
That was a great mage game for Kalento. Nyria, however, going to be joining Kalento at the World Championships later this year. They both finished top 4 recently at the Spring Championships this past weekend. So Ziggenteig has a long road ahead of him to be able to bring Austria back into this series and tie it up 2-2.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one. Again, both teams are playing all together. For Team Austria, they physically have been playing together, although I haven't seen Ziggenteig yet. It's possible that he's playing on his own in a different location.
We'll have to see.
But these guys, they've got each other's back. They're communicating all of the way. Yeah, he's a bunch of bars at the
Oh,
moment.
he's beautiful.
And Nyria on the other side. It's like Nyria just saw the bars and was like just smiling. Yeah, that's what
I
I'm.
got him. He's not even a real person.
That's what I'm up against. Come on, what is this?
Colored bars? Huh. I got this.
I know, it looks like Ukraine doing a great job in the rematch versus Austria. Again, they played each other 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like
Yeah.
that. I think it was 2 weeks
Couple
ago.
weeks back.
And Austria won. It went down to the 5th game, but Austria did win. And now, if they lose this, the vital game which they need to win to get through, it's going to be devastating for them.
It is definitely possible that Austria can tie up this series and bring it back to another Game 5. It would be our first Game 5 of today. We've had 2 3-0s and a 3-1. So Austria definitely wants this win. They want to tie it up, and they ultimately want to get the next win as well and win this series, meaning that they would have then defeated the Ukraine twice, and then put themselves through to the top 8 of this tournament.
And that would be a story. They beat
Oh, yeah.
Russia in stage 1, they beat Ukraine once in stage 2 and once in stage 3. Imagine that. That would be a story worth telling of how Austria got into the finals of the Hearthstone Global Games, but they've still got a long way to go. They still need to come back in this series. If they win this series, they play one more series next week, and if they win that one, then they'll be joining us at the live finals in August. But still a long way to go, and Kalento, Nyria, Dr. Hippie, Nick Chipper, they are not going to make that any easier for Austria.
Well, Ukraine going into this tournament was one of the absolute favorites. I think everybody hands down knew that this was going to be a team to watch. They had, I believe, a 4-1 record in Phase 1 of this tournament, a great record in Phase 2. Obviously, they made it to Phase 3 as well. So a powerhouse, for sure. The fact that Austria has defeated them once is an absolute feat in and of itself, and it does mean that they can do it again. But even still, Ukraine up 2-1. I wouldn't expect that they're going to be making any mistakes at this point. These guys are perfectionists at heart. They're great players, and now two of them going to the World Championships this year already.
Yeah. And Kalento and Nyria actually had to play against each other at some point. I don't think they had to play against each other in the important matches towards the end of Shanghai.
Did they play in groups?
But they did in groups, I think, and they did in playoffs at some point, possibly even back in Winter Championships. I don't remember. But these guys, you know, they have rivalries. We've got a team of 4 incredibly strong individual players versus a very incredible team. Strong players too from Austria. I'm not trying to undermine them.
Very synergistic. They work better as a team.
Very tight-knit. Some great names as well. Game King, obviously one that we've kind of breezed over. One of these players that's one of the ladder gods of old. I was former teammates with Game King. Great guy. Great to practice with him when I had the chance to do that. I respect his play a lot. Same with Deathwing, who played earlier today. Johnny Stone streams almost every day, I believe. He's always coming up with these kind of quirky decks. We had the Cthulhu, not Cthulhu warrior that, as you said, Gaskin and I were so confused about, but it won its game, it did its job, and there's a lot of logic behind it. For those of you that missed it, it was a quest warrior that ran Disciple of Cthulhu and the what's the 2-drop called? Beckoner of Evil, yes. And it ran Beckoner of Evil so that it would buff the Cthulhu that's not even there to 10/10, because Veclaw still gets its effect if Cthulhu isn't in the deck, but still.
Does it count for 2 taunts for the quest, or is it only 1?
It only counts as 1.
It's so weird.
But it's still super strong. Like Veclaw itself is a strong card, right?
I mean, you can make some use of Disciple, obviously, but Beckoner of Evil, that seems a little bit odd to me.
You can get more Veclaws off of the Stonehill Defender as well, and then there's the Ancient Shield Bearer that can gain you 10 armor. So there are a lot of reasons that the Cthulhu cards work.
There's tools, but then just put in Cthulhu.
There's no space for Cthulhu, Cora.
Whatever you say.
There's just no space for that card.
No Cthulhu's here. Maybe a Yogg in the Mage, but that's as crazy as it's going to get. It is going to be a secret Mage.
That's pretty crazy.
For Austria and Ukraine on everybody's favorite taunt warrior.
Yeah, interesting matchup here. Nyria, I imagine, going to keep the quest after everything that's been discussed recently. If he throws the quest, I'll be quite annoyed, frankly. Nope, okay, he keeps it. Good. We're all on the same page. And Zingentai, yeah, playing on his own. Playing a deck which fell out of favor a while back. I don't believe it performed that well in HCT either. Gunther Mage and Freeze Mage both performed very... Yeah, okay, so Freeze Mage was the best performing deck, winning the 1 game that it played. It was banned twice.
Okay.
Gunther Mage went 9-3 with a 75% win rate.
That's pretty good.
But Secret Mage was the worst performing archetype with a 6-12 record last weekend.
Did Ant have Secret Mage?
I don't have that information on me.
Might have. Could be wrong. But... Point being that there's still a lot of diversity within the Mage class. I mean, Secret Mage, maybe not the most reliable, didn't win 100% of its game like Freeze Mage.
There were a lot of Secret Mage games played though, so obviously some of the players that did well were running it, or it would have just died out in the early in the group stages.
For sure. And the big draw of Secret Mage is it has the same burn in the late game that pretty much every other mage deck has, but it has a stronger early game. You
Yep.
have access to Sorcerer's Apprentice alongside the traditional Mana Worm, Medivh's Valley Arcanologist start, and then you also have Cabal Crystal Runner for the mid game. So you can, if you play just a couple of secrets, get those Crystal Runners down to 2 mana or even 0 mana, and flood the board on one turn with a lot of stronger mid-range minions. Unfortunately, that is very susceptible to Primordial Drake Sleep with the Fishes or Brawl from the Warrior, so you do need to be careful, sort of hedge your bets about when is the right time to go all in.
Yeah, and that's the downside as well, is that there's no real way of coming back after you go all in. Yes, sometimes they run yogg-saron. We can see a Pyroblast here. That looks like that's the value of this Secret Mage. Sometimes they run Pyros, which is able to generate a lot of value itself. Other times, though, the Mage just kind of runs out of steam, or runs out of fire, I guess, in a Mage's case.
I actually missed it. What card did the Babbling Book give Zegentai?
Was that the Pyroblast? Yeah,
Very well, maybe.
I looked away as well, but that's the only thing that makes sense in this hand, so I think we'll just go with that. So there should be some more late game value for Zegentai then. Possibly a yogg-saron, as I said, possibly
I would think Yogg. So Zegentai can go with the Cabal Crystal Runner this turn if he chooses, or can wait to get a little bit more value out of it. Obviously, the Medivh's Valley can clear the Acolyte of Pain really easily this turn. Polymorph's a nice pickup off of the Babbling Book
Polymorph came from that Babbling Book, yeah.
Yes, it did.
We both caught that one.
Spotted it.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
He's so dainty. Very polite.
Yeah.
Gonna burn you out, but nice guy.
One of my favorite sound bites from this game, actually. Buy one is one of my favorites from the Huckster too. Yeah, good impression.
Thank you.
A little bit quieter than the one that he does, but sure, I'll take it.
I mean, he's sort of hushed and whispering. He doesn't want to know that. He doesn't want people to know that he's pandering funnel cakes. Got a business on the side.
All right, Ukraine can hit the War Axe into the Medivh's Valley, and they can play Ravaging Ghoul. Doesn't seem too bad to me, honestly.
I wonder.
Ravaging Ghoul plus Sleep with the Fishes is something that could come in handy later, but I doubt that Zegentai ever gonna have a board big enough or wide enough where that's a worthy play to make.
I must choose.
I think this is okay. It's the most straightforward play.
Okay. So you were saying before, how all in does the Secret Mage go? Is this a turn to go all in?
It seems very early, doesn't it?
And it seems very weak.
And you don't have the burn that you need.
You summon a 1/3 and a 5/5. Great. And that's it.
I mean, the 1/3 just gets owned by Ravaging Ghoul. Maybe it prevents the Crystal Runner from getting run over, but we know that that's not the case.
I quite like Zegentai holding it back, actually. You're right. It would have just been value traded into. It's kind of pointless playing it.
The only reason you play it is maybe you protect your Crystal Runner, but even still, I don't think it's worth it. Not sure what Zegentai honestly needs to find here. Firelands Portal would be a great start, but he still needs something to do on turn 6. And Nyria has a wealth of options.
Nyria, it's funny, on turn 5, the Quest Warrior tends to like to just drop the Alley Armorsmith, but when there's a 5/5 on the board, and you're against a mage that can kind of just fireball and ping it away, it's a little bit trickier to make that decision. There you go. That's
Sequencing from Nyria.
And that's Counterspell not doing what it's supposed to do. Sure, I said there's not going to be many targets for Sleep with the Fishes earlier. Why not just use it like an extra execute?
Yeah, I like it. And no secret active, I believe, for Austria. Now the Counterspell was procced. So can't finish off the Armorsmith with the Medivh's Valley. A lot of resources that you can't really do anything with.
I wonder.
Do you Fireball the Armorsmith? Ugh. Just as a way to get the mana worm onto the board and buff it a little bit. Then you can polymorph the Alley Armorsmith later.
Hopefully you push more damage with the mana worm than you would with the fireball. That's the ideal scenario.
It's so unfortunate, and there's so much on the line for Zigguntag right now.
I wonder.
If he loses this game, Austria are out of the Hearthstone Global Games after the journey that they've had.
They've come so far.
Runs out on me.
Wow. Okay, so really valuing the damage off of the fireball.
Sure. As we can see, the fireball may have to come down next turn to get rid of the Alley Armorsmith anyway. So if that's the case, it would have made more sense to fireball the Armorsmith and polymorph the Alley Armorsmith.
But from Austria's perspective, if nothing strong comes down this turn, then they do have the potential to just finish the game in a couple of turns with
Yeah.
Pyroblast on turn 10, if they can pick up some additional burn for 8 or 9.
That's true. I don't think there's any other play here for Nyria other than just drop the Alley Armorsmith. I'm looking at Ravaging Ghoul. No, that doesn't achieve anything. Trade in Execute. That doesn't achieve anything either.
I think you Alley Armorsmith and hit the sheep into the mana worm.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want the mana worm to have to trade in?
Yeah, that seems fine. If the Secret Mage is going to make a big push, it's going to happen in the next few turns. As more time goes on, Nyria is going to kind of relax more and more. That's the first taunt played, shockingly.
Is it really? Wow. Okay.
Okay,
There's
Zigguntag
a
suddenly-
failsafe.
Suddenly looks quite happy about that. We predicted there may be a Yogg. There he is. There's our boy. And it looks like it's probably going to get a chance to be played this turn, unless Nyria picks up a dirtier out of his own. And we see the second yogg-saron dirtied out, dirty ratted out in one day.
Soul crushing. Second Alley Armorsmith. Now that's fantastic pickup for Ukraine. Nyria can even run in the sheep and execute the worm if he wants to. Really choose to protect that Alley Armorsmith.
Ah, that might be tempting.
But you do have Primordial Drake coming up on turn 8, so how much do you
You know,
value getting rid of this mana worm this turn?
you've seen a polymorph used up, you've seen a fireball used up.
The only thing that can get rid of this now is like a Frostbolt.
Yeah, I think it's so likely that this Yogg, not Yogg, but Yogg on the brain now, that this Armorsmith stays safe. You can just, and if the mana worm doesn't attack, the next turn you can drop Primordial Drake and clean it up that way. However, the counterspell plus Medivh Valet does a perfect job of buffing up the mana worm to put that Alley Armorsmith in range.
Ukraine gonna gain 2 armor off of that. Austria gonna chop down 1. And it's looking like yogg-saron is going to be living up to its name in this game. It's gonna be Hope's End.
For someone.
Yeah, for one of these teams. Hasn't been too many spells played this game from Austria. They'd certainly like to have at least one more this turn, and that's the best one to get.
All right, it allows Zigguntag to, oh, that's pretty good too, and bad. I think it's better than it is bad. But it's a complicated one.
7/6 is not, it gives you mixed emotions. You're not super sure how to feel about Ventricle Mercenary, because now you can't play Yogg on 10, but maybe you can get in for 7 damage.
If
and
you're
that's
just
a good thing.
smashing Ukraine in the face for 7 damage each turn, you don't really need yogg-saron anymore. Pyroblast, that can come down next turn. Ventricle Mercenary does nothing to prevent Pyroblast from coming down. If you haven't seen Ventricle Mercenary before, it just increases the cost of all minions in your hand by 3. Back in vanilla Hearthstone, I think it was quite popular in Arena all the way back then.
Still is not bad.
No?
5 mana 7/6. It is what it is. All right, Nyria playing very nicely around Counterspell once again. Is this the Yogg turn?
I don't think it has to be. I think if he wants to, Zigguntag can just wait a little bit.
Ukraine's out of resources. Battle Rage draws 1 card.
I don't mind this. Just Pyroblast the face. You're still there. You go. Come for the Babbling Bird. We
Yeah.
we
Not this
predicted
time.
correctly. If that turned out to be the Fireball, that would have been a little bit worrying. Yeah, I mean, you can just keep putting more spells into that Yogg. keep dealing damage to Nyrea's face, allow Nyrea to build up more of a board so that Yogg is more likely to survive for longer.
That's a good point.
All of these things actually are helping out, as you can tell,
You don't want Yogg hitting himself.
with the Shadow Strike or a Naturalize.
Pirate
One of
Blast.
those memes, yeah.
Good memes.
It's not really going to do anything.
Yogg.
Doesn't feed the Yogg either.
Yogg him.
You think he just plays it?
Yogg him. He doesn't have to. He could play both of the minions this turn and that would be fine, but you don't want to give fodder for Battle Rage. Then again, you don't know that they have Battle Rage.
All right, let's go. Oh. Well, that was anticlimactic.
That was underwhelming.
Yeah.
8 mana Yogg. That's pretty good, right?
You remember when yogg-saron's effect would continue after that?
Yeah, that was a scary time.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that
And
it
then,
doesn't
he just gets
anymore.
played again.
Yogg, and the last spell would be Vanish. All right, well, we tried, but we'll try again later.
It's not really a problem for Ukraine. Sure, they can deal some damage, draw a card or two this turn. I guess an extra 2 after this if Nyrea decides to Battle Rage here. Curator looks okay too, but all of the time he makes this turn, he has to consider the fact there's a yogg-saron in Sigantag's hand, and he's ready to use it.
If you saw Yogg this turn, it's very likely that you're going to see Yogg again next turn.
Yeah.
The menagerie is for guests only.
But Nyrea doesn't care, he's just going to draw some cards. Makes sense.
And again, you saw Yogg fail once, just to say it won't happen again.
Well, it's got to be due a success story, hasn't it? Pyro's able to come down this turn also, but let's see what the Yogg does first. Okay, this is looking like a success story. Whoa! What? All right, I'm bowing. We're just bowing down to you, Yogg. Please don't hurt us. That was.
I apologize for every harsh thing I've ever said. You are almighty.
Yeah, Cora actually had her hands up in the air.
Well, that was
Quite
more of a
while
oh my, oh, not a consecration. It just kept happening. Did you see how many board clears were in there?
Yeah.
There was a lot of them.
Cleave, multi-shot, eviscerate, hitting the perfect minion.
Then consecration. Then you hit 6 with the bite, the savage roar.
Some old god out there wants Austria to get through to the Hearthstone Global Games
I
Finals.
think we know which one it is. It's not Yasharaj.
Actually, it's not Cthulhu either.
It's not Cthulhu.
Cthulhu's actually quite
Cthulhu
annoyed with
hates
Austria.
him.
Yeah.
Cthulhu wants him to lose. And it's like, you put all my friends in the stack, and you left me out.
Just used me to buff my buddies. It's not,
Poor Cthulhu.
does make you think, doesn't it?
Value of friendship. Austria has it between themselves, but they iced out Cthulhu.
Nyrea still has 9 health remaining, though. He's able to armor up this turn. He can put himself up to 11. He is safe against a lot of things. Primordial Drake would defend himself and get rid of the Pyros. He's actually going to try and drop a few taunts this turn. And the Armor Smith doesn't look bad at all.
You can Direhorn Hatchling and Pompous Thespian.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, the Armor Smith's more valuable, though.
Gonna go for armor.
You know that Austria's only got 2 cards in hand. Quest completed.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it can be activated anytime soon, though. Yeah, Austria only has 2 cards in hand, but 1 card on the board is Pyros, and Pyros can keep coming back and being more and more value.
Ooh.
Firelands Portal isn't bad either.
That's the understatement of the century.
Firelands Portal is one of the best cards in Sigantag's deck to draw right now. Is that better?
That's quite good.
Yeah. Sorcerer's Apprentice can come down too, as well as the ping.
What's the right way to do this?
I think, well, it depends what comes out of the Finance Portal. Anything with charge would allow yogg-saron to hit the face.
Yeah. So you Firelands, Direhorn Hatchling, and go from there.
Do you start by playing Sorcerer's Apprentice? You can still ping afterwards, so I don't see why not. Unless you want to play around a brawl or something.
Yeah, I suppose if you'd rather have the Apprentice and ping this turn instead of Kirin Tor Mage. Because you could just run the Pyros into the Direhorn.
Ah, that doesn't have charge.
Time runs out on
That doesn't even have any
Doesn't even
attack.
have attack.
Yeah.
That's a warlock minion. We don't play those.
That one's Tar Lurker.
The lesser known tar.
Okay.
Could be a brawl self-draws hero power. Or brawl
Yes.
matriarch.
But are you comfortable on 9 health?
No.
I'm thinking maybe Ukraine want to continue to armor up each turn. Both 5 drops seems okay to me. Matriarch and Ali Armorsmith.
Yogg goes right into the alley armor smith. Matriarch's harder to get rid of.
Matriarch's very hard. Yeah. All right. Can Yogg do it again? No, Yogg can't do it again.
Or sweet Yogg. You kind of want Pyros to die, though.
Yep, Pyrus will come back next turn as a 6/6. Kirintor Mage can come down too. If Zigantag's really lucky, he'll draw a secret next turn and squeeze that in. Also, okay, sure. Yeah, okay. Sorcerer's Apprentice definitely comes down now. Best of both worlds. You can still fit in Pyros this turn, and if you draw spells, you can probably play them. Oh, more card draw.
There's a secret.
Ah.
Put Intellect, Kirintor Mirror.
Oh, this is hard. You're right. That's such a strong play, but Pyros.
This is very hard.
Yeah, okay. I like digging through the deck a lot.
Oh, there's a glyph.
Glyph is so strong.
And a Frostbolt. If this is Fireball, that's lethal.
Ah. Glyph is so strong with the Sorcerer's Apprentice on the board. All of these secrets are free if picked up. So if he wants to, Zigantag can just drop another counterspell and Mirror
the Mirror
Entity as
Entity.
well.
I think that's definitely the take.
We are running out of things to bait the counterspell out with.
I mean, Battle Rage is okay to bait counterspell. It's not going to get a ton of use.
Yeah, now you're kind of starting to... Well, I guess he's not really running out of resources yet. Okay, making sure we get the sequencing right there. Little accidents can happen, but not amongst players of this quality. Stonehill Defender is nice to bait out the Mirror Entity, actually.
You can run the Matriarch into the Lurker and Primordial Drake. Leaves up a 4/1. You can hero power.
That's fine, but then the Mirror Entity would...
Yeah,
Would
you want to bait Entity
probably-
with something.
Another Direhorn Hatchling. I don't think this game ever goes to fatigue. It shouldn't do.
No, I wouldn't think so.
But
Once the warrior feels comfortable enough and puts down Sulfurous, then
Yeah.
the game's going to be over pretty quickly.
But
one
Direhorn
way or the other.
Hatchling probably still the best pick here.
What now?
It's never Ozarok.
No, it's Direhorn Hatchling or it's Public Defender and put down Alley Armorsmith and Public Defender.
Then you're not armoring up though. That's fine. Not the end of the world. Ali Armorsmith comes down, and I'm expecting the armor up.
You can go for the Battle Rage.
There it is.
Makes sense to me.
Now the onus is back on Zigantag. Picks up a 0 mana Cabal Crystal Runner. He can play his entire hand if he wants to. He's got a counterspell down, which could block a Brawl. He's seen at least one Sleep with the Fishes already too. He's seen a Brawl. That's what killed the Yogg off.
How does he remove
What to do?
the taunts from Nyria? These are some pretty awkward trades, and there's no way to get everything off the board.
Yeah, Matriarch is a problem. Ali Armorsmith is arguably a bigger problem. Don't want to let Nyria gain any armor.
I'm late. I'm late.
Right, just going for it. Something has got to be struck by this Frostbolt, I believe. I don't know whether it's the Matriarch or whether he uses it on the Ali Armorsmith to prevent the armor gain.
Either Kirintor, Frostbolt, hero power into the Matriarch,
Yeah, I'm gonna try and
Kirintor, Frostbolt into... Oh, you can actually just freeze and kill the Matriarch. Okay, it's just gonna ping it. Set up for a kill.
Still only one spell in Nyria's hand. It's just the Battle Rage. And I Don't even know if he'd want to draw at this point anyway. He's only got 8 cards left in his deck. I said these games shouldn't go to fatigue, but it's actually possible.
I mean, the mage has been keeping up. That Yogg gave it, well-timed board clear to say the least, and then you had Arcane Intellect into Arcane Intellect, into Primordial Glyph. But it's just about run out of generation after this Pyros.
Alright, so the 6/5, the Matriarch can trade into the Tarlurker. And that's okay. It does allow Austria to ping it away. However,
What
Austria's turn is going to be very awkward next turn. They're going to need to double trade into the Primordial Drake, and then they won't have the mana to play the 10 mana Pyros if they're pinging. These players are just doing it as much as they can to make their opponent's turn difficult. Fireball helps Zig and Tig out a lot. Fireball plus trade in the Tarlurker and
Plus
ping.
hero power. Crystal Runner into the Matriarch, Pyros into the 1/2.
That seems good to me. It means Pyros survives, which means you can't play it from the hand, but 10 mana, 10/10 Pyros, well, it's 10 mana. It's expensive.
This works too. Save that fireball.
Almasmith isn't that helpful here. I guess he can put it down behind one of the taunts and then Hero Power as well, but with a 10/10 Pyrus on the board, if I was on Team Ukraine, I'd consider just dropping the 2 biggest taunts I possibly can.
You know the mage is really running out of removal. Not to mention resources.
There's only so much that Austria will be able to deal with. Sulfurous, okay.
If you can deal with this board, there's pretty much nothing the mage can do.
I think that was a good hit. I'm not 100% sure, I'll be honest. Yeah, it must have been. It must
I
have been
think
the best
any
hit.
minion here was a good hit.
Okay, if Zigantide can pick up any sort of removal, Ice Block buys him an extra turn later. He's just going to have to Fireball away the Primordial Drake, trade into the Direhorn Hatchling, and I hope that Ukraine can't deal with the Pyrus.
Maybe there's a natural copy of Pyroblast in deck for Zigantide as well.
I will.
Have we seen both Firelance portals or just one?
I think we've seen both, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh boy. Well,
That's the last of the resources for Austria.
that's what Nyrea needed. Now, what else can Austria possibly have left in their deck that will generate enough value to deal with this board and deal 14 damage to the face?
Kabbalist Tome.
Yeah.
We saw both battling books. Is there another glyph?
Yes, there should be another glyph. Sometimes Secret Mage run Elise. Sometimes. So it's possible that there's a pack in there. It's all looking so unlikely. And even if there was a pack, Ziganto's running out of time. There's 8
Block
damage.
would be popped before he could actually get the Elise, and then the pack,
Yeah.
assuming it was the first card on top of his deck.
There's 8 damage coming in every turn. Kieran Tormage has to come down here just to try and prevent Nyrea from popping the block.
I mean, there's 13, so the block's not automatically popped this
Yeah.
turn without one additional source of damage, so something to activate the Bloodhoof Brave would do it.
Okay, that's true. So I guess Kieran Tormage can be held on to. Not that it's going to do anything for the remainder of this game anyway, except maybe be pulled out by Dirty Rat. 13 damage, as you said a moment ago. Nyria is 1 off lethal. He's so close. He probably thinks that the card in Zigantag's hand is some sort of burn spell, and that he's just holding on to it. And that Zigantag's just holding on to it to pick up lethal soon. A double fireball plus ping would do it. I know that fireballs have been used already.
Yeah.
But it shows that there are damage, there are amounts of damage that are available to Austria that could just win them the game.
That this is a fireball, and then there's a primordial glyph into another fireball.
Exactly. As Nyria now knows that wasn't a fireball, it was a Q into a mage. Which has just helped him generate more armor. Now Zigantag needs to deal 15. That's not going to help him do it.
Does he even have any secrets left?
I doubt it. I think these decks only run 1 ice block to activate the Medivh's Valleys.
We saw block, mirror entity, and
And we've seen 2 counter
2 copies of
spells.
counterspell.
That's 4 secrets. It's unlikely that they run a 5th.
What to do? What to do?
Just pinging the face. If he doesn't play any minions, then bit by bit, eventually, in 15
He's only at
turns
14.
time.
Eventually he'll be dead. Oh yeah, play the brawl. You won't do it.
To proc the counter spell. Very good.
Gotcha.
Good plan, Nyria. Probably best he doesn't do that. Just
Suppose
in,
you could pop him at 1.
yeah.
That might be good too.
That's probably pretty good.
Then you brawl. In style.
I mean, is there any reason not to at this point? I guess if you brawl, you potentially lose to a defensive Alex Strasser, but Ukraine just seemed to have this one well and truly in the bag. 2 yogg-sarons were not enough for Zigantag.
One of those yogg-sarons was really, really good.
Yeah, and one of them was just a shadow step. So say 1.5 yogg-sarons. Wasn't quite
But
good
here's
enough.
all their early game.
And that's the problem Secret Mage can have. It's why a lot of people agree that the Discover Mage is just more consistent. As
Final
Zigantag
moments.
pings his own face, Nyria and Team Ukraine get through to top 8 of the Hearthstone Global Games. Great feeling for them, although as I've regularly said to Team Ukraine in interviews with them, it's just another day in the office.
Just another Hearthstone match for them. They're so used to this by
just
now.
what they
I'm
do.
Sure. They get out of HCT in China and immediately